Hello everybody, back again for another brew. I know it's been a very long time and I apologise for the lack of activity on the channel. I simply haven't been brewing, what can I say? The last few brews I've done have been those Cooper's drafts, which are really good session drinks actually. I've been going through those. But overall I just haven't been brewing, been a bit lazy, and my stocks are getting pretty low actually, low for me. So time to get another brew going. In my usual fashion, I didn't have time to get anything good. I really got to get into some better kits one of these days. I really want to hit some of those amber ales and IPAs again, but for now, I just went to Woolworths and picked up some stuff. So what we're going to do today, we're going back to our good old Woolies Homebrand Lager. I was almost going to get another Cooper's draft, and I thought, you know what, I've done two of them recently. Let's go back to the classic garbage beer. So we're going to do that. We're going to use the kilo Dex for the fermentables, and for something a little bit interesting, going to chuck in about half a bag of those strawberries into a pot, boil them for, I don't know, some time, haven't worked it out yet, maybe 10-15 minutes, and add it to the wort. A slight change as well, I'm going to be using a Cooper's brewing yeast rather than the yeast that comes with this. I just had a couple of these lying around after I used some of the US05 kit yeasts on some of the kits. So, I mean, kit yeast is kit yeast, I guess, but I'd probably trust this one over that one. And I was intending to chuck in some Chinook into the boil with the strawberries, but I could not find my little filtering bag thingy, whatever you call it. So without that, I'm not going to be putting this in the boil, but I will just dry hop some Chinook into this batch after day 5. So let's give this a go. Let's see how she goes. No idea how this is going to turn out, so let's just start. Okay, so I just put some water on to boil on the stove. Take a while. Now, normally when I'm doing a wort, or general conventional wisdom is to add some malt into this. I don't know what the actual science behind that is. You don't come to this channel for science, you come here for stupid ideas. So find that information somewhere else. But I don't have any malt. In fact, when I was in Woolies, I'd noticed they sell little tiny cans of malt extract. It's $10 for a can. The tight ass in me was like, I can buy one 3 times the size for $13 at the homebrew shop. Not that I really get around to getting to the homebrew shop these days, but yeah, so I decided, nah, bugger it, I won't even bother with that. I was thinking of maybe boiling with this, but I don't think it's going to do anything, so I didn't bother with that either. So we're just boiling up the water, and I'm going to chuck in half a bag of these strawberries. Just chuck them straight in like that, and I'm going to boil this for about 10 minutes or so. I think 10 minutes from boil. Not sure if I should have waited until it was boiling before putting the strawberries in, but again, not exactly sticking to some sort of scientific recipe here. This is just chucking out ideas. So let's get this going. I will start sterilising and doing all that fun stuff in the background and see how she turns out. We might have to abort this mission. It seems my tap has sprung a leak somehow. This isn't good. So yeah, I've got beer everywhere. I'm going to get in shit for that. I'll have to clean up. Still boiling the strawberries over there. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Because I do have a second fermenter, I'm going to sterilise that and transfer across rather than just waste all this batch. But that's a real pain in the backside, that. I'll need to source a new tap now. I don't know what happened. Had no issues with it before. Yay, the fun things of brewing. I will be back. I've got to get to work. Okay, that's done. Transferred all the wort from that one into this fermenter here, which I haven't used for about 2 years. Had to give it a quick sterilise. And look, it works. There's nothing wrong with it. In the end, it's a plastic barrel that ferments beer. They do exactly the same thing. The only difference is that this one you can't see, for starters. I did attach a thermometer, but I wouldn't rely on its accuracy. and it can be a little bit of a pain in the backside using the tap. It's not as good of a tap as these Cooper's ones. That said, this one just failed, so say what you want about that. One advantage though, I've got to pour the strawberry water into the wort now. That was always going to be a bit of a pain with this one because I'd have to sort of use a strainer and hold it and pour with one hand, and it was always going to make a mess. Right now, because of this perfect lid size lip opening, I can just put the strainer right in there. I didn't bother sanitizing that, by the way. It's one of those things you can do if you really want to. I didn't bother. But I am not going to pour all the strawberries into this. It's just the water itself, just trying to get all those sugars out, all that flavour out, and hopefully this will affect the beer. So now that I've done that, I will transfer the strawberry water into the wort and continue topping up as normal and cleaning up as well. Alright, that's been transferred now. In going with today's theme, I made even more mess pouring the strawberry water in because I didn't think about the strainer being above the lip, and all the water just started going bloody everywhere. So I had to do a bit of clean up of all the strawberry water that was all over everything. So that is now done. Now all I've got to really do is top up this beer and add the yeast and take a gravity reading, which I'll do this time around. Safe to say this has been a pretty bloody disastrous batch so far, but we're going to keep on with it because we've come this far. Why not? Yeah, anyway, bear with me. I'm just going to top her up. And there we have it. Finally put it all together. I only did this batch up to 20 litres instead of the usual 22, 23. Two reasons, well, probably three. Firstly, I want to get as much flavour as I possibly can out of the strawberry sugars. Secondly, if it turns out to be a disaster, it's 2 less litres to pour out. And thirdly, it was 2 less litres to put in because at this point I've had enough of this batch today. I've got a kitchen out there to clean now. It's going to be really fun. I'm going to take a gravity reading just after I finish this, so I'd like to see what this one turns out to be in terms of ABV. Being my other secondary fermenter, you have to use an airlock because it doesn't actually have the natural airlock action that the Cooper's one has. So yeah, just put a bit of boiling water in that. That acts as an airlock to stop infections getting in. I could definitely use a bit of a clean on this fermenter. Sterilised the inside before I started, but yeah, it's a bit messy. It's been sitting in the garage for a long time. So yeah, anyway, I will clean up now. I will take a gravity reading, let you know how it goes. I'm excited to try this beer, even though I'm sick of making it right now. Hopefully she turns out pretty good, and yeah, it's good to get back on the old brew horse again, even if today was a bit of a disaster. But disasters can be fun too sometimes, especially if it turns out to be a nice strawberry lager. That'll be great. Alright, take care guys, and we'll talk soon.